just got out. And it was an interesting experience. Thank goodness I wasn't the only one in that theater, because that's how it started. Even this morning, I looked up if anyone had signed up or like bought tickets. Wow, I look so weird today. And I was still the only one. It is really kind of a sad day, like really cloudy and rainy and cold. It kind of bummed me out. Again, I was too self-conscious, and I didn't take a picture of the credit at the end, the executive producers, and of course Justin Baldoni was one of them, and in those nice beautiful orange and pink letters. And yeah, I'm bummed that I didn't do that picture, but I got some other pictures, like the Wayfarer credit and stuff. It was an interesting movie. I need to figure out where I'm going, so to be continued on that. I cried. I definitely cried, and I felt like at the end, like maybe this is completely just like a moment of bias, but like I felt like I was in the wedding. I felt like they were like dancing, to welcome me into their family and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm still emotional. Anyways, be back. All right, so my thoughts seeing this movie. One, I kind of want to be a movie reviewer. When I was watching the Oscar movies, I had thoughts. I'm also at the beginning, but I had thoughts coming from doing Meisner, coming from directing myself and editing and things that I've done as far as like film production. And yeah, I kind of want to do that. That aside, the movie itself, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I would give it probably a 5 or a 6. It moved me a lot. Emotionally, it moved me. I feel like it was too short, too rushed. I feel like the dialogue was an interesting choice. The dialogue was it felt like kind of amateur dialogue for most of it. But at the same time, there was something refreshing about the dialogue, that it wasn't trying too hard. It was, yeah. Another thing that stood out to me was the acting. The mother, she seemed like a new actress, or just maybe like not an actress that was like present in the moment, and more so it felt like she was waiting for her lines, or like, I don't know. That could have been a stylistic thing. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like that part. I loved the music. It's not going to be like what I liked and what I didn't like, or the other way. It's going to be a mash of things as things come to me. So yeah, I like the music. The music was powerful. There are 3 scenes specifically where the music really moved me. obviously, I don't know, obviously, but the beginning, the first one, the like opening scene, we just went right into it. I don't think they even like said the name anywhere. So that was a good choice. It was a good song choice. It moved me for sure. Oh, sorry, I'm like some bird. And then the other one, so I'm passing by like a place that I don't want to remember. It's sad. Another part was their first night together. That was such a beautiful moment, and the music made that moment absolutely even more beautiful, and it brought the beauty of that moment. Yes, it brought the beauty of that moment. It was just another beautiful, perfect music choice. And then the other one, like, I felt loved watching that. It was such a short scene. And that's the thing, like, this movie had just, like, all the scenes were very short. It was just really to the point. It was an interesting style. And the other part was, this one is an obvious one, based on what I just said in my previous video. The wedding, the final scene, that song, and I don't know, it moved me. I felt it. It was beautiful. But yeah, I started crying, but I felt like I was there. I felt like I was being loved, and I was getting married. And like at this speech, I realized like I almost like clapped. It was a beautiful speech too. So yeah, I was like, yeah, those were like the top 3 moments for me, and they were definitely tied with the music. And then there was to go back to another moment that stood out, but more in a negative way. The cinematography at times was just off, and I literally took a picture of one scene, one shot that really bothered me. The framing, when I say cinematography, at least in this case, like the framing kind of bothered me. Well, the framing, and then there are moments when the camera was too shaky, and they had a moment where it was clearly like on a steady cam. It had to be, I don't know, maybe not. When like the first parent meeting, and there's like the camera like follows them out and then goes back in, and it had to be a steady cam, like a person with, you know, the rig and stuff. I don't know, but that was very smooth. I'm like, why couldn't you do this like in the hospital scenes when it was like walking? Maybe it was like I don't know. I guess they could have done that like maybe on like a rig. I don't know. Anyways, and so yeah, but the scene that bothered me the most was when I laughed, and I wasn't the only one. We laughed a lot, me and the other like 7 people in the theater. I'm so glad that I wasn't by myself, but it was like the right amount of people. But yes, the other part, I'm going to go here first. The other part was, the part that bothered me, like framing wise, was when he was in his living room and he was like texting people, and it was like the wide shot of it where they caught, and I don't know if they were trying to do this on purpose, but they kind of shortened the top, and the top was too close to the lamp, and then on the bottom you could see the lights, and I wish those were cut off because it was just so off. And maybe that was like an on purpose choice. I don't see it how it would have like been worse especially for a movie like this, which is like, it was a combination of, I would say, in my opinion, a combination of having the beauty of like Bollywood type movies that are very expressive and visually, visually expressive and so forth. And beautiful. Like, they are about beauty and about, I remember like one of my inspirations for filmmaking is Bollywood, as far as the idea being like escapism and things that are like, not the like real world of like hardship, but it's like beautified. I forget exactly how they describe it in the place that, like, I don't even remember where I like read this or saw this. Anyways, and it's not just like escapism, like to just escape, but it's also like aspirational. That's why it's colorful and all this stuff. Anyways, so there's that. And then with like the more like kind of grungy, or not grungy, but like the more like realistic type of American kind of thing. I'll park right here. Thank you. You parked a little too far back, but it's good. So I get the combination, but I think for that shot especially, and there was another one, I forget the other one, but that one specifically stood out to me so much. Like, that one especially should have been like a perfect framing rather than like an awkward framing. And also, the reason that I don't think it was on purpose was, I think, because the other shots of that same scene were with that good framing, with that, like, and when I say perfect framing, it's like, like not having it be uncomfortable feeling. It's like not classic, yeah. Like, it doesn't give you, it's not meant to give you a feeling of discomfort. It's meant to just like showcase stuff, or give you comfort. So that one was the one. And yeah, that's kind of like, that's like the overview. But it was like funny too. And I can also see why this isn't in like the movie theaters, but also at the same time, it's not like movie theaters are doing all that great. So, picking and choosing, maybe it's like the distributor kind of choice, but picking or like money, budget wise. But as far as the movie theaters, they should just get what they can. I think it was like good enough. I was surprised that it wasn't in the one movie theater that typically has more independent movies or even foreign movies and so forth. So yeah, that was surprising, but it was great. Would I recommend it? Like I said, I think it was a 5 or a 6, probably like a 6. And so yeah, it's not the best movie I've seen, but it's a great movie that's worth seeing, especially in movie theaters, because what I discovered was, like, being in the movie theater, they have a lot of close-up shots and just lingering shots of these people's expressions, especially the two men. And it's like just moving, and to see that expression so full in front of you, I would highly recommend seeing it in a theater if it's near you, if you can. And yeah, I think you will laugh. I think I can guarantee you that. The crying part, I think it's more of a personal experience moment, but you might be at least moved. So I surprisingly would highly recommend it, despite it being a 5 or a 6. And this is not because it's Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni's on it, and I'm a supporter, and I feel like, you know, he needs the support right now, and Wayfarer needs the support right now. It's not because of that. It's truly like, this is an unbiased position that I'm taking. I'm going to go into the grocery store, but I was going to wait to talk about this on my live, but I want to get this out now. Because if you can get to see it, you know, it's here. I noticed that it's only until Friday, so, you know, go see it. It is Thursday now. So anyways, but yeah, cool. Bye.